Hi and welcome to today's video where I have my March update for my rolling project plan, which I started in January, and it is to use 15 items in 2025. So as it's rolling, it means that as I use an item up or reach my goal, then it gets rolled out and then I select another item. And it's likely that will be from the same sort of category, like an eyeshadow with an eyeshadow, if you know what I mean. So I've got quite a bit of development, I'm quite pleased to say. So without further ado, I shall go through the items. I will be looking down because I do have my list here showing where I'm up to and what products I've switched in and out. So the first item came in January. It was partially used, and this is by Kerastase, which is a L'Oreal company. It's the Nutritive 8-Hour Magic Night Serum. So it was just under the K when I brought it in. There was last month, and that is this month's. So I've used fairly consistent amount. I use it either the day I've washed the hair that night or the next night, because if the hair feels coarse, then I use that. It works well, but I don't like the Kerastase scent. If you know, you know. Some might like it, but it's not for me. But it is fairly good at silkening the hair, but it does leave a residue of the scent in your hair. So yeah, I'm working through that, and I'll be glad to get that finished, and it won't be a repurchase. The next item is by Jo Malone, and it is the Peony Blush and Suede Cologne. So I started off there in January. That was February because I was working actually on another fragrance at a bedtime, and so but between this is the February update, and now this is where it's up to. So I have used over half now. Well, the bottle's over half empty. So I'm not sure how long it will take. Perhaps a couple more months. But it is a very nice, florally, with a slight fruity note to it. Quite pleasant, and Mr. Bear likes it as well. Then we have by Laura Mercier the Radiance Primer. This is in the old packaging, which is 50ml. The current packaging I think is 30ml. And so I think it's more expensive, but you get less product. So this started off in January at 62.5 gram, in February 57, and in March now it is 54 gram. So I don't use it all the time because my foundation that I have in this project is a bit slippy, and this isn't a grippy primer, it just adds extra slip. So it isn't, this is only suitable for certain foundations, but I have used quite a bit of it. It's fine, it's not my favourite one, it's not my favourite by Laura Mercier, but it's fine, it's a fine primer. Does it give much radiance? I don't really know, because my skin is fairly glowy to start with. Then, talking about foundation, the next one is my Bobbi Brown, and it is the Intensive Skin Serum Foundation SPF 40. So this was rolled on, it was virtually full. I think I'd used it about 4 times or so before the start, and this is now empty. So yeah, did I have a weight? Yeah, it had 142.5 gram, although it's very heavy glass. It's now completely empty. It might splutter. It spluttered a bit there, but it's a very pale foundation, and I actually used it with another IT Cosmetics CC Cream in Light to darken it, so I still managed to get through the whole bottle, so I'm pleased about that. I have another which I'll probably roll in towards the end of the year. This is in Alabaster, C004 Alabaster. I've also got a porcelain one which is more yellow in tone. But for now, that is finished. Now I'm rolling in its place a IT Cosmetics CC Cream. Now this is the original Fair. So I've had this shade a long time. It has been altered, and it's now difficult to get the Fair in the UK. But the Fair is now more orange in tone. This is more of a beige. So I'm hoping, well, I want to get this used up because of its age, and I'm hoping that they bring to the UK Light Neutral, which was released about a year ago in the US. It hasn't been brought here, so that would be my replacement. But I do have some other Fairs that are a bit more orangey that I need to work on. Because of its age, I'm going to need to finish that one up. So this is coming in at, let me get it, 49 gram with the packaging. The next item I have is by Hourglass, and it's the loose setting powder, the Veil. I've used quite a lot of it. And what I do with this, I use it to set down my black eyeliner because it tends to it tends to print onto my mobile lid because I've got hooded eyes due to age. So I put a bit of powder on a paddle brush, and I also use it before I put down my contour because it is I've been using a cream contour, a heavy cream, so I didn't want to have too much of a heavy powder, but a light powder allows this to stick to foundation rather than smearing foundation or smearing on top of. But I've only got a tiny bit left, and I thought it would take me most of the year. But I'm not sure. Oh, well, I do have I've got here a powder that I can swap in. So I've got a tiny bit. It might last a few days. And then I've had this in a project pan before. It's very difficult to pan. But I've got the Laura Geller makeup, and this is the Balance and Brighten foundation in porcelain, and it's 9 gram, or it was 9 gram. So this one I use as a finishing powder. So it's concave, which means that it's domed, but it's got at the top that sort of shape because it's been used a lot. This used to dome out, but I don't know if you can tell if I move it round. It's had quite a bit of use. I don't see I'm going to hit the baked waffle pan at the end of the year, but I'm going to carry on using that as one of my pressed powders. And it is a very fine powder, but it does have quite a bit of an opacity to it because it is a foundation, but not very opaque as a powder foundation, if you know what I mean. It's heavier than a standard powder or thicker. So I'm going to use that. And then for bronzer, I've got the Milk Bronzer. Now, in the last couple of weeks, I finished it. I've scraped it out. I finished it in terms of it was flat to the top, so I couldn't use it, apply it on my skin and pat it onto the cheeks. So what I did is I actually scraped it out with a little spatula and put it in this clean pot. So I'm working on this. Now, a lot of people wouldn't work on this because it's the dead part that's actually in the bottom of the container. But like I say, I did scrape it out. So I've got quite a bit of extra value because although it says 3 gram, I think it's 3 gram on the visible part. But I managed to get that as well. So I've got that on today as bronzer, so on the periphery. Yeah, so I'll show you each month how that goes on, but I wanted to get good use out of it. So there's that. And then the next item is by MAC, and it's their contours they always put under blushes. They don't have a separate contour section, but it's called Back to Nature, and it is a contour shade, and I've only used it a couple of times. That's because I have another contour which I'll show you. It's not part of this project, but I'm still working on that. It's not as pigmented as it used to, but it is a greyish tone contour. Then for blush, I have Rocketeur in a small size, and the good news is that since the last update, I have hit pan. Now I try and work on the whole lot, but obviously I've hit pan more on there. It's a bit thicker at the other end, but I'm going to work through the lot. Now this is a rosy, peachy, coppery blush. So I think it might be like Desert Orchid from Pat McGrath and the new YSL in number 12. Nocturnal something or other, and or Nocturnal Beige or Nocturnal something. It seems very similar. I need to take this into Manchester at some point and test the two in the same store. Because, yeah, they are in the same store, so I can actually test them out. But I think this is very similar. I like this. I'm a bit sick of it at the moment because I've worn it virtually all the time. But, yeah, I would like to replace that when this is run out. And, of course, Rocketeur's gone. So I have two alternatives I can look at. Now, on to the next item, which is eyeshadow. I've got Naked by Urban Decay, that's from the Naked palette, and I've also hit pan, but really extensively. So I'll show you my progress. That one, I don't know if I can get this to show you. Not that I've covered the other one up. That one there, I've got my finger in. So there, the second one in, that is the Naked. Now, what I do is when I work on an eyeshadow, what I try to do is use it all evenly. So I don't have one. I don't tend to concentrate one particular point. So yeah, it's broken through, so I don't have a knot left. In fact, this one was quite extensive, and I used that as a socket line and this over the lid. So it's going to take a few more months, and it's a matte, but I'm very pleased with the progress. Now, when I was mentioning the contour, although this isn't in the project, just to let you know, that's the one I've been trying to finish. So once I get this finished, I will be able to focus on that every day. So hopefully that will come. The next item I have is by Rodale, and then writing is now coming off on it, and it is my eyeliner, a gel eyeliner in brown. I'll show you where I'm up to. I haven't made an awful lot of progress because I've been wearing the black. I've got a black and a brown one. I've been wearing the black one because the Charlotte Tilbury mascara that I have tends to stamp onto the lid, and so it covers the brown, so I'm using the black Comrade to that. But I have had some use, and I'll get the, let me just think where it is, the Rodale eyeliner. There it is. So it's got a first line, second line, that one. So there isn't that much in the last month, unfortunately, but once I finish my mascara and start another, I hope it'll be easier for me to use, and for the brown eyeliner, it's a beautiful liner to be visible. Then I have, what's the next one? Maybelline Smoky Rose, which is a lipstick which I have in an old Lipstick Queen container. So I put that in, I think it was last month. Was it? Let me just check. Yep. So, because I didn't like, I got rid of the one that I initially put in, which was the Urban Decay. I just had enough of it. So this is where I'm up to. So it's over halfway used. And this was fairly new when I started it. So this one is February. It was there, March there. So it's quite a big, you know, quite a few mil has been worked on, which I'm pleased about. And then I've also got the Dewy Setting Spray. Now, was that an original? Dewy, so I'm looking down to see. Yeah, that was in the beginning. So that was when it was put into the project. That was February. I don't know how I managed to use that much. And this is March. So I'm hoping by the end of the month, this will be finished. Now, I haven't got something to show you. I'll be starting. I'll have to select something. But yeah, I do hope in the next couple of weeks, by the end of the month, that will be used up. What I will say is quite light. It reminds me of MAC Fix Plus rather than one that actually sets makeup. It's more that it blends powders, if you know what I mean. But it is nice and it is inexpensive, and you can get that from Boots. It's Barrier, which is a UK brand. Then we have Laura Geller Perfect Peach Lip Gloss. Now this was finished a couple of weeks ago actually. So there it is. Did I take the stopper out on this? No, I didn't. But I did scrape in, as you can see. I would consider that empty. I don't think there's anything more to be gained by that. So that was a nice lip gloss. It wasn't too sticky. And in its place, I've put in, and I've yet to start it actually, for this project purposes. I've marked it up, and it is the Lip Luster by Ciate. And is it in a shade? What shade is it? Don't know. Nova, I think it is. So there it is. So I'm sorry I've inverted it, but that's where it's up to there. And it'd be nice as a topper. Now this is more of a neutral, slightly warm pink, and obviously this is a cool tone, but it'll be nice as a topper. I'm trying to work through my lip glosses, so this is the next oldest one which needs to be used up, or one of the older ones I should say. Then I have a highlighter that I've been working on since the start of the project. I got this in an advent calendar, last year, towards the end of last year, and it's the Glass Highlighter by Rodale, and it's in a small one, and which is 2ml. And I have taken the stopper out and used it all. The last bit is on my cheeks today. I really had to scrape to get the last bit out. So that is all finished, so I'm pleased. Now I did buy a backup which I will start at some point. What I will say, it looks nice, but it has, and it's a gel, but it has oil in it because it will go to an oil slick as you heat up, or as the sun hits you when you get, and that's hot if the outside temperature is hot. So you then have to try and mattify it or press a tissue or your hand just to remove some of the oil. So it's not the best formula, I would say, but it is nice for editorial looks, but not that practical, because your hair could stick to it quite readily. So in its place, I got this in a beauty box within the last month or so, and it's Pillow Talk Beauty Light Wand by Charlotte Tilbury, and it's in the shade Pillow Talk 2 Medium. So I thought that would be very pink, but I don't think it is. I think it's a peachy, goldy peach shade, which I prefer. I like pink. I wore pinks years ago when pink highlighters weren't popular. Now they are. I've had my fill of it, really. So this is brand new. So I shall be working on this. Now the weight for this, I did weigh it. It's 20.5 gram all in. So I'll be starting this in the next, by tomorrow. The It Cosmetics is 49 gram, and I think that's it. That's all of them. And then the very final item, if I'm right here, is by Orly. And I had this in the project last year, and it is an Artist Garden by Orly. And I haven't been able to really put many marks in. I think I put the start one last month. It hadn't moved. So I think I'll only be able to mark it every alternate month. There is where it started this year. And this is where we're up to now. So I do use it 2 or 3 times every single month. It is 18ml, or the jar is, or the bottle. So it's going to take a long time. If I marked it every month, all we'd have is a series of black lines. So I've decided just when I've got a noticeable gap between the lines, I'll put a mark in. But it'll be lovely for spring. It's a neutralish, but a very springtime, maybe slightly sage-toned nail polish, and I do think it's very, very lovely. I haven't got anything quite like that. So they're all the items. I'm very, very pleased with the progress so far. Let me know your thoughts down below, but can I say thank you very much for watching, as I do appreciate that your time is valuable. So thank you very much for spending some of your time with me. Hopefully I shall see you again in another video. Otherwise, please take care of yourselves, and bye for now.